Okay.
Oh, yes.
Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Unique New York, unique New York.
Oh, no.
Missing.
Greg,
Missing.
I thought this was a duet.
Missing.
Oh, so you're just going to sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds. Can you hear me? BONK. Welcome to Miss Thing.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim. And this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates our Miss Things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing storied career and do what we do best, which is make it all about us. Why don't you go?
I was just going to say, it looked like you were afraid of the couch just then as you were saying those last couple lines. You were kind of like backing up into the cushion, but then annoyed that the cushion was touching your back. It looked like you were like, why are you doing it back there?
Right, well, I'm afraid of sinking into the couch, and I am at, this is a little behind the scenes, but I'm at such an angle that, like, it could feel like I'm sinking into the couch, like, and slouching. Last week you sort of took issue with the way I was sitting when we were
issue. There was there was no issue. I just thought.
Then what was it?
I just thought that you looked very casual, and I didn't say that there's anything wrong with it. I said I looked at you when I pressed record, and I said, hey, as a heads up, it does kind of look like you're laying down. Are you cool with that?
Oh.
And that I was just like being like, do you want to like adjust, or are you fine with looking like you're laying down on camera, which I would have had zero problem with. And then you sort of were like, no, I don't want that. And then I believe all last episode you were kind of doing that V. Like,
oh yeah, I was doing ab work, sort of like
Loreen
on Eurovision. What I'm hearing is that you just sort of don't think it's okay for me to feel comfortable on my own pod. And no, that's okay. You like to keep me on my toes.
I'm being a very caring friend here, where sometimes people, when they're like, they'll look back and they'll just be like, why does it look like I'm laying down? And sometimes you're then at risk for chin stuff if you're laying down. You know what I mean? You weren't. You were not.
My chin.
But I just think when you start to lay down and you get lower than the camera, then there's some at-risk chin stuff that happens.
What's the danger that you foresee with my chin?
I'm only thinking of myself, which is that if I were laying down, and everyone has their own thing, so if you were laying down, then all of a sudden you could insert your insecurity,
Of which there are plenty. I
don't personally see any, but I just, as a caring friend, I'm just like, hey, this is what you look like.
Yes.
If anything, I just think that the recap of this is like, I'm so caring.
Yes, thank you for keeping such close tabs on my appearance. That's very important to me.
But if you want to lay down right now, I would be happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of appearances, I'm not one to normally like air out, my dirty laundry on pod.
I just have a feeling I know where this is going.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you actually guess where this is going to go? I'd love you to know.
I have a feeling this might have to do with you're wearing a hat. No? You texted me ahead of time, so I thought you said this is going to be a hat episode. So I thought you said appearances. I was just surmising that it had something to do with the fact that you texted me this is going to be a hat episode.
It's interesting that you point that. I was not going to bring that up on the pod, but I'm so glad that you've decided.
Tell me about the other.
So I was sort of not going to be talking about myself. I'm not one to air out dirty laundry on the pod, but something has happened in my home life that I needed to bring here. So we have a second bedroom in our house, and that room is oftentimes used for work stuff. So it's night. The other night, the work day is done, and I hear, "Hey babe, can you come look at this?"
Oh no, that's the worst thing you can hear from the other room.
Yeah, my husband sort of calling out from the other room. So I come in, I say, "Hey, what are you going to show me?"
What do you think beforehand? Like, what are you guessing it's going to be?
It could be a document. It could be an email.
See, I immediately go to a mole. Okay, keep going.
A mole.
A mole.
Okay. Well, this is sort of the home office, so I don't.
Yeah, but it's your husband, and it's kind of like, oh, I just saw like a nervous thing on my body. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Well, I would sort of point that out and then try and pick it because that's who I am.
A mole?
Yeah, I'd like to. I like to pick foreign objects on the skin.
Okay, sorry. So he takes you in.
So he takes me in. He says, "Come look at this." I go in there. He said, "Well, I need new headshots for something, so I actually asked AI to make some for me." And I take a look at the screen.
No! Oh no!
I can't shake the images. I can't shake the images.
I actually have to see these photos. Do you have them?
There's like hundreds. They must have generated in seconds.
Okay.
There's so many photos that actually do look a lot like him.
Yeah.
Particularly in the eyes and the nose and a lot of the facial features. The one place that I think AI technology really needs to work is the neck. There is something so uncanny about the neck.
It's too skinny, too fat.
It's both. It's either too skinny, too long, giraffe-like, or thick, chode-like.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, really, really shocking stuff going on around the décolletage area.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, anything new with you?
You know, nothing that comes to mind. But I did want to go directly into my
Doll of the day.
Yes.
We are sort of doing this where one of us sort of abbreviates it, and one of us says it's long
Let's do
Christian
as
name.
you said earlier or last week, our
Christian name.
Doll of the day, mother of the moment, sister of the second,
AKA Dad Mom Sauce. By the way, it's our famous segment where we talk about the person, place, or thing that we're currently so obsessed with in our lives right now.
Okay, so last weekend, or I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I was coming back from the beach. And
this is Venice still?
No. This is my gay beach volleyball league
famous
that I'm in. So
volleyball.
I do this every Sunday. Mm-hmm. And as I come back into the apartment, realize I'm covered in sand. So I go back out into the like back stairway, which we share with all of our neighbors, like near all the cars. And I am desanding. I leave the door unlocked because I like, you know, as any person in their sane mind would do.
You have eyes on the door. We're fine. We're safe here.
Exactly. And then as I'm desanding, a huge gust of wind slams the door shut.
Wow.
And I'm not kidding you. I always have my keys on me. Like it is like an OCD thing of mine, which is like I'm always afraid I'll get locked out.
Yeah, you're always sort of jangling wherever we go.
Jingle jangle.
Yep.
And so but of course the one time I brought my phone, thankfully, but I did not bring my keys. And so I find myself in my bathing suit, locked out. And I'm on my way to go to a movie in like an hour. And so I'm royally fucked.
I remember that.
And so I was like...
Wasn't invited, but I remember.
And that's why you remember it.
Okay.
And then I see that my apartment one, the first floor neighbor, this sweet older couple, it's like a family that lives there, is outside like barbecuing by their car.
This is good.
And I'm like, I call Ramel, being like, that's my roommate, to be like, is there any way you can come back? And he's like, I'm like an hour away, you know? And I'm like, yeah, totally. I get it. I'm just going to be like baking in the sun, you know? Then silently up the stairs comes this woman from apartment one with a little butter knife. And I have to say, I know that a woman silently coming up the stairs with a knife is scary sounding, but she somehow made it the cutest little jovial like thing. Like, I have an idea. What about this knife? And so then she gives me the knife. Jimmy opened the door so easily. Thankfully, like it wasn't dead.
So easily?
Yeah, I know. My mom was freaking out. She was like, "What? It's that easy?" And I was like, "Well, I hadn't deadbolted it or put the top lock on."
Sure.
And so,
Still
it's a
worrisome.
it is worrisome. They have since come and replaced all the locks.
Oh,
Listeners,
okay.
don't you worry. And I sleep with the deadbolt and the top lock and the regular lock. So we're good. But so, anyways, I was so thankful to her for this knife. So then the next day, I went to the grocery store and I just like picked up like your normal, like standard grocery store, like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies, you know? Nothing fancy, but I just like went and I was like, I just wanted to like say thank you for like helping me out of this pickle, you know?
Yeah.
And of course she wasn't there. So then I just left a note that said like from Tim, thank you.
Right.
So then I forget about it. Then the next day I get a little note on my windshield of my car that says, thanks, the number 4 cookies, with a little drawing of a chocolate chip cookie. And I don't know why it like touched my soul. I loved it.
That's
beautiful. And then ever since then, weeks have gone by, and every time I see her, she like just smiles and winks. And I'm like, okay, woman of few words, but like I actually think I prefer that, because it's like we now have this like connection. And then 2 nights ago, I get a knock on the front door, which like normally if that happens, I'm like, I should go hide. Like something bad is
silent.
happening. Yeah, no one move.
Tyrannosaurus Rex style. Like absolutely just don't breathe, don't move.
I'm so grateful that the TV isn't on, you know, and I'm like, I'm not home. But there's
so you don't have to mute it and pretend it wasn't just blaring.
Exactly. And so I was like, I could get away with this, but there was something about the knock that sounded friendly. And so I was like, you know what? And I was like fully dressed, ready to be seen, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I opened the door, and it's her with like a plastic plate and saran wrapped, covered full of like Panda Express leftovers. And she was just like, my son just graduated high school tonight. We had like a little party. We have tons of Panda Express like leftover. Would you like any?
Okay.
Random, but also very sweet. Feels very
Very
1950s. Like, you know, like just stopping by with a cup of sugar or like whatever. And then my roommate loves Panda Express.
Of course, who doesn't?
Exactly. I had unfortunately just eaten, so I was full, but he hadn't. So it was like the perfect.
You're like, I don't want that. Actually, I'm full.
And again, I saw her earlier today, and again, just a little smile, and like we have this connection, and I think we're in love. Don't tell her husband. Don't tell Anthony.
I love that. You do find yourself in a bit of a gift-giving dilemma.
Yeah.
I think, because now you are obviously going to have to.
What do I get someone who's giving me Panda Express?
Leftovers.
Okay.
So you have given her not homemade but store-bought
cookies. Yeah.
Cookies.
Mm-hmm. Well, but they are.
She has. Yeah. But they are. She has given you
leftover Panda
Express leftovers. What place you love Taco Bell?
You know what I need
Why
to do?
Why don't you go to Taco Bell, take a few bites out of your cheesy gordita crunch, cut the edge off with the butter knife.
Yes.
Give her the other half.
Or I'm just realizing now, live on pod, I should put a post-it that like she did on her door saying, thanks, number 4, Panda Express, with a little drawing.
Thanks, 5. Performed for.
I don't know if that was
3x5.
You lost me.
It's just instead of S's, it's 5s.
God,
you're just doing.
I'm mapping.
Yeah, any sort of place you could replace a letter with a number, that's what you should do.
I think I've been talking about my Dad Mom sauce for way too long.
Yeah.
Do you have a Dad Mom sauce?
It's time. Well, of course I have a Dad Mom sauce. Considering the incredible news that they just announced there would be a Practical Magic 2.
Greg, I'm so happy you brought this up.
Yeah, I had a feeling you would be. Now, of course, Practical Magic 1, one of my favorite films of all time.
All time.
As you could probably imagine, I've never finished it. I've seen the beginning about 18 times. And ultimately, it's one of those movies.
Are you kidding me?
It's one of the famous films, quite like Napoleon, quite like Stigmata, quite like Frozen, that I famously fall asleep during every single time I watch it. That being said, this news could not get me more excited than any other recent film.
Listeners, those of you not watching the YouTube, that entire time my jaw was on the ground.
jaw on the ground.
I'm so disappointed and upset.
It's not for lack of trying. It's like, I when I'm telling you, it is one. If people ask you what's your favorite film, it's like top 3. It's like Practical Magic, obviously. I love Nicole. I love Sandy Bullock. They're both back on board. You know, the thing that I need to know about, that I need to know, is if Stockard Channing and Diane
I was already
Weister
talking
brought
to my
back.
sister about this because we own that movie on not just DVD, VHS.
Could I borrow? Oh, actually, no, I don't.
I think our mom has since given it away.
Sure.
But we, not only have we seen that movie so many times, we like memorize certain scenes. We would reenact those scenes.
Who's who?
Well, also my friend Greg, other friend Greg. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but like my best friend in
twin name edition.
I know, and it was like he was my best friend for like all of my childhood until like middle school.
I learn literally so much every time we sit down to record this pod because we don't talk off pod.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And he, first off, is very straight too, which is funny to look back on. But we would reenact this like scene where I think Goran Viznik is the male, one of the male leads in that from ER.
Of course.
And he gets like inhabited by this thing. I don't want to spoil it for you because you hadn't
not
seen
to be
it.
confused with, of course, Miss Thing.
Yes, and he, anyways, there's this moment where he rises. I mean, can I spoil it for you, or are you?
Yeah, of
okay.
course.
The movie is 25 years old.
I may not get to that point.
Well, anyways, he's dead, and then he comes back from the dead, and then
Okay.
they're kind of shocked, and he goes, "What's the matter? Got your tongue?" And we would reenact that scene and that line over and over again, and we would, all three of us would trade off between Sandy, Nicole, Goran, and then also the scene where they put the lime in the coconut, where they're dancing. Have you seen that part?
I have.
I mean, I've already lost sleep thinking about they have to put Diane Weiss and Stockard Channing both have to be. I'm assuming my thing was that they're still there, and then now Nicole and Sandy are them, you know, like now they're the old wise ones.
Yeah.
And then I'm really nervous about who they're going to cast for their daughters.
I don't want to. That's a fast forward. That's a skip to me.
Keep going. I totally cut you off.
Oh no, that's all I had to say. I couldn't be more excited for a film. Of course, I will have to try. I will have to do my best. Drink as much caffeine as possible, watch the movie as early in the morning as possible just to get through it. But I will be seated night one. And I really do think this is an extended AMC campaign for Nicole.
Oh.
You know, it brings new meaning to we come to this place for magic. And I am coming to this place for magic.
Greg, you're blowing my mind. She absolutely does need to do that.
You know, I feel like Nicole is she's really commits to the bit. Mm-hmm. If there's anyone in Hollywood that commits to the bit. I'm also just so excited to see Sandra on screen again. Don't quote me on this and do not do research on this, but I'm sure she hasn't been in a film in a decade. Nicole has been in every film for the last decade, and you can fact check that.
You didn't see The Lost City with Channing Tatum.
Oh, I did see that one.
And yeah, she's been in. Well, anyway, Sandra Bullock is one of the top things.
Greatest of all time.
But the other thing I want to bring up is, have you seen? It was like going viral recently. Nicole got honored at like AFI.
And the Reese
impression of her. It's like the best performance Reese has ever given, and
so
she's given so many good performances.
Yeah.
But I was.
If I was Nicole, I would probably be pissed. I feel like Nicole was looking at her like, I will kill you. I will kill you.
That is very us, too.
That is so
Who's doing the impression and who's getting honored?
Oh, it's so hard because generally I think I'm Nicole and you're Reese.
100%.
But
yeah,
also,
you would be. This is the thing. You would be getting honored for your lifetime achievement.
Thank you, I'm older.
We don't have to talk about that.
Okay, it's not an age thing.
And then I'm
more of a
going to give you
thing.
I'm going to be talking about the pod. I'm going to be giving a speech about like our friendship, and of course I'll do an impression that like steals the entire show. And instead of talking about her, they talk about me. Kind of steal your thunder.
Right. I guess you are Reese in this scenario. I thought I was kind of Reese just in this particular scenario since I, of course, am so good at impressions and love doing impressions.
I actually agree with you a little bit there because I also believe that I would then, similarly to just 3 minutes ago when my jaw was on the floor, when they do cut to Nicole during the impression, her jaw is on the floor and she's shaking her head like, no, which is what I was just doing.
Yeah.
So classically, we're both.
Yeah, we can never figure out who's who in some of these scenarios.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, should we take a break?
Let's take a break. Welcome back.
So it's time for Miss Thing. We got to get right into it. Our Miss Thing this week is so...
I mean...
someone we love. Someone it's impossible not to love.
Someone who is, like, in the pantheon of best actresses of all time.
Yeah, truly great actresses. And also, like, an actress of the people. Sort of like, you know, a Sandra Bullock type, a Reese type. Nicole, you know, she's a bit of an... in her own league.
I mean, but also...
I almost
said her name, but she is her own lane. She is already, like, women strive to be her, men strive to be her. However you identify, you strive to be her.
I certainly strive to be her.
And that person is
Amy Adams. I mean, we know her from...
Okay, I was going to say, I'll go. Ever After... Oh, not Ever After. Wait, by the way, and then I started to say Ella Enchanted.
You did start. I heard Ever, and I was like, wait. Okay, so we do know.
Wait, what is that? Oh,
it's
Enchanted.
It's just Enchanted.
Okay, you know her. What if I like Ever After? Never been kissed. Riding in cars with boys.
Diaries.
Yes, Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, so we know her from Enchanted. You, of course, know her from her other famous film, Nocturnal Animals.
Okay, you know her from Arrival, the best movie of all time.
Truly the greatest film of all time.
And I'm hoping, I don't know what you're going to say, but I'm not talking about this film. So if not, reminder, we need to go back and talk about Arrival if yours doesn't talk about Arrival.
We're going to talk about Arrival.
Okay, thank God.
You know, I don't like to go for the obvious choice, but today we're talking about Arrival.
I mean, but it's also Doubt. It is...
with Meryl.
I mean, American Hustle, The Fighter, The Master.
Also Julia and Julia with Meryl.
There is so many movies from this individual.
Junebug. Constantly nominated for an Oscar. Yes. Oh, Vice.
She was nominated for it, but yeah.
Oh my God, right. American Hustle.
Did we
go? Okay, we went there. Yeah. What's the one with Glenn Close that everyone thought Glenn Close was going to win for playing
It's like
Meemaw.
American Tragedy or something.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. Well, we wish it well.
What was it? Anyway,
American...
So many.
Something.
Okay, wait, this is actually what I want. This is my little thing that I planned for you.
Oh,
we have
something
I have something planned for you, which is, and I actually haven't thought about it, but I wanted to bring up. Apparently, she is going to be in a movie at the end of the year.
Called Nightbitch.
Nightbitch.
Yeah, where she plays a woman.
Wait. Oh, you already know. Okay, so the game's ruined. You already know. I was going to say, I know nothing about Nightbitch, and so I wanted to ask you, we were going to take guesses at what we thought Nightbitch was about, but you already know.
Well, why don't you take a guess at what Nightbitch is about? I do already know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is...
Also, I'll do a hot and cold.
Okay. No. Don't.
Okay, fine. I'll just be quiet.
Yeah, be quiet.
On
because
my pod.
I already was thinking about what I want it to be. Oh. And then you can disappoint me or excite me if it's correct.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling it has to
be more shocking than
I know
you expect.
All I've seen is like a poster with like meat on it, and then I think I saw a photo of her looking like ravenous or something.
Okay.
And so
ravenous is how you just pronounce
ravenous.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would like the film. I mean, Nightbitch is such a good title.
Fantastic.
So
title.
I don't want it to be like her being
what
a
I
dog.
text you every night.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I have a feeling it's like her being a dog or something, or like a werewolf. And like, anyways, but that's not what I want it to be. I want it to be Nightbitch is. I want it to be. She's in a rock band. And their band is called Nightbitch.
Love that.
Maybe their single is called Nightbitch. And
so they're a band with the
I don't know.
Nightbitch
Either the single
Okay.
or the band. She's wearing leather. She's sexy. She's like Joan Jett-esque vibes. Great voice, famously.
Yeah.
You know. And then people around her, her fans, start dying. So she's like prime suspect number 1. Kristen Stewart starts investigating it. And also, by the way, she has a huge lesbian fan base. In this, Nightbitch has a huge lesbian fan base.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. No. They are a lesbian.
Yeah,
band.
and also like her Amy Adams in leather, sexily singing Nightbitch. Of course, all the women are gonna love it.
Okay,
And
this might win her first Oscar.
exactly,
Finally.
and then
okay, I'm
Kristen
loving this plot. It's exactly accurate. By the way.
Okay, good. Kristen starts investigating.
Okay, Kristen Stewart.
She's on the case. She's like, something's going wrong here.
Yeah.
And then they start to have like a tete-a-tete, but it's also sexual. And they kind of start to have a love affair. And then the whole time, I didn't set it up right, but you don't think that it's Amy, but then it turns out that, oh no, then the twist is actually that Kristen is the one killing all the people because she's jealous and she wants Amy to herself.
I saw that coming a mile away.
I know, I didn't think about it. I didn't set it up right, but I will say this. Amy wins it's her career Oscar. It's not a good enough performance for her to actually, like, she should have won it she should have been nominated for Arrival and won for Arrival, quite frankly.
I agree with you. Great performance, okay movie. It's her monster.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So but it's kind of like, it's just like time. Amy deserves to win. And actually, Kristen is the one who gives the better performance because she's the murderer.
Right.
So she gets
but
nominated.
only at the end.
Oh, exactly, at the end. And it's like she should have won, but it's Amy's turn.
Sure.
And right before Kristen kills people, she goes, Nightbitch.
Oh.
Okay, now disappoint me or excite me. What is it? What is?
Wait, but
okay.
now I want to guess, even though I know what it's
Okay,
about.
okay. Well, guess.
Okay.
What do you want it to be? If you like, as opposed to
So I think I was inspired by what you just told me, and I'm not as detailed, but I do think it's about this It's like kind of like an actiony or a comedic, like sci-fi, kind of version of Groundhog's Day.
Ooh.
But it's like Groundhog's Night, bitch.
Okay.
In a way. And it's kind of about this like quirky lady who can't get her life together.
Okay.
And she keeps reliving the night, and she's like gotta turn more into like her badass bitch ass self.
The more bitchy she gets,
the more bitchy she gets, the more
she'll break she'll break the curse and stop repeating the day.
I don't really know. Maybe she wants to keep the night going. I'm not sure what the end game is, but I'm thinking Groundhog's Night. Bitch.
I love it.
Thanks. It is about her becoming a dog. So you sort of hit the nail on the head right
I mean,
away.
all I saw was a photo and it's like, and there was red meat. So I was like, that's just like, so it's just kind of like Catwoman, but it's like Dog Woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. I think it might be like horror comedy. It might be funny. It might be strange.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we love. Should I get into mine since we wanted to talk about Arrival?
Please.
So ultimately, this is about Arrival.
Thank God.
For me.
Arrival is not talked about enough. Should be everyone's top 10 favorite films.
It is the greatest movie of all time. It is so emotional. It's so sweeping. It will make you cry harder than any film. If you're me, it will make you cry second hardest behind the famous movie, The Green Mile.
Never seen.
Okay, it's long. It's long, but
it feels very
a real
straight.
tearjerker. It's very straight. Yeah. I think I saw it famously. It was the first R-rated movie I ever saw in theaters, and I saw it a few nights before Y2K with my parents, and I started crying in the theater. A, because it's sad, but B, because I did think, the world was going to end just a few days from now. So Arrival is the greatest film of all time, but I need to talk about how I got to see it the first time. When I saw it in theaters. On a weekday, even though I worked at the time at CBS, which I believe you were still there when this happened. Yes. So I'm not sure if you remember this, but one night Vat and I were getting Korean barbecue, and we decided to Uber. We Ubered, sometimes there's beer involved, sometimes there's not, but we just decided to Uber just because we didn't feel like driving. Parking in K-Town is always a nightmare, what have you. So we're leaving our meal, ready to go home. It's been a long night. The Uber app says Lexus, brand new Lexus. I don't remember what year this was. Maybe it was 2016, 2017. It was it 2014? That's a long time ago.
I have a weird thing with
films.
certain movies. I know the exact year.
And
also, if we were at CBS, it would have been 2014.
That's hard to hear. 2014. That's 10 years ago. So
I'm sorry, just to stop you. You sent me shaking and quivering that 2014 was 10 years ago, which of course it was, but also it really hit me. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, that just hit me really hard. I see it all over your face.
Yeah.
The 10 years. The 10
God,
years.
yeah.
I see that all over your face. So this car comes up and it's brand new. I'm like, okay, like, wow, we're riding in style tonight. So we get in the car. We quickly discover it's one of us.
Okay.
There's
She's
a
one of the
gay man.
girls.
There's a gay man behind the wheel of
Yeah.
the car. Which
So then you're like, buckle up, put your seatbelt on.
I'm not sure about this in this brand new car. So he was very friendly, very
Chatty.
excited,
Yeah.
very chatty, very excited to tell us about his brand new car. Also excited to tell us about how this was his very first day driving for Uber.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Very first day. And he is nice. But there's a few moments where he is head 180 exorcist style turned back talking to us while driving down Western. Western getting to Western, which famously is an artery through town that turns into Los Feliz when it turns by Griffith
Great
Park.
use of the word artery. Okay.
Well, keep that in mind because mine's was almost punctured. So here we are, we're going, and he's talking, and a light turns red ahead. And we're like, look. And at the last minute, he stops the car, screeches, stops the car. So he stops talking for a few minutes, regroups. We're all like a little shaken by what just happened.
Yeah.
And then, he gets a little bit more excited. We're going back down Western. He starts talking about this and that and this and that. It happens again.
Oh, my God.
And we're at this point, we're like, okay, you might want to just keep your eyes on the road.
Do you actually say that?
We did say that.
Okay,
At this point, loving this conversation.
Yes, but
let's
eyes forward.
Let's all look forward.
Yeah.
Keep going because we got it. Once we turn the corner to Los Feliz, less light, I feel safe. I generally feel safe because that's over by where I live. Like, I feel like I can breathe easy. The road's a little clearer, what have you.
Also, it's like, at this point, sir, you know what we look like. We know what you look like. Did I just repeat myself? We all know what everyone looks like. So it's like, you can talk and we can still have a conversation without looking into each other's eyes.
And we need to make sure we know what the road is looking like.
Yes.
So we're going. It's happened twice. His eyes forward on the road. He's still talking. We are about to get to the turn. We're at the last light where it's about to turn onto Los Feliz. He goes full speed, slams into a car in front of us.
Oh my God.
At this point, his eyes were on the road at this point too. I just feel like he straight up just was not paying attention. So one of the most amazing things about this new Lexus is that it has full car airbags.
No.
So I sort of get blown to the side from the airbag that comes shooting out the side of the car.
I've never heard this story.
Also slam head first into the seat in front of me, break my glasses. This famous car ride got me these glasses.
And that's why you look like that.
But long story, and then we sort of just got out of the car and left and called another Uber instead of waiting for the police. We were like, "You're on your own."
You called another Uber? Yeah. At that point, I would call a friend.
I did not want to deal with that. It was Sunday night. I was exhausted. Was not going to deal with that. So the next day we went and we saw Arrival.
Okay. I didn't want to say, I was like, I don't know how Arrival relates to this story.
Well,
but now,
I was so concussed that I needed a day off.
So when you cried harder than you ever cried in a movie, some of that was just like...
derangement.
Yeah, just like... You didn't cry from being impacted by the airbag.
No, I'm looking at the rings on them, drawing the rings, and I'm thinking about the neck brace I should be wearing.
Did you get anything, like, in that situation, do you get like I don't know, like $100 off?
Oh, no. Uber, I didn't use it for a long time because I had to only communicate through the app.
Of course.
You can't speak to a human. So I'm like, got in a bad accident. Can you, A, connect me to your insurance people because there's been damage? And also, B, can I get the other Uber that I took home after that comped? And that was, a lot of work to get that.
They did comp it.
They did eventually.
Good. Wow. I can't believe I didn't know the story.
I feel like you had to. But anyways.
I think I knew you got into a car accident. But I don't think I knew the details. Never asked.
Right, that is sort of, and that's on you. Anyways, I've been talking about me for a long time.
Okay, how I make Amy Adams all about me is...
Please.
Famously, people don't talk about this performance of Amy enough, which is she guest starred in the seminal TV show Smallville.
Okay.
Yes.
Tom Welling.
With Tom Welling, one of the hottest men of all time in 2003.
Who, if discerning viewers may know...
is my mug.
Yeah. His face is all over the mug.
Yeah, which is actually leads me into my story.
Oh, please.
Which is... So that mug, that Tom Welling mug that I drink sometimes is from my best friend Tara from Chicago.
Not best friend Greg.
And she...
shout out to Tara.
Shout out to the best person in the world. So Tara, when Smallville came out, I was obsessed. No one else... I was like, this is the best TV show of all time. No one else necessarily felt that way. A lot of that had to do with how attracted I was to Tom Welling.
Right.
And I was like trying to just get one other person to watch Smallville with me. She was like, okay, yeah, like I'll watch Smallville with you, like so you can talk about it.
So you're both watching Smallville.
We're watching.
Finally.
Okay, and then like every week I would call her and be like talking about the episode. And as the weeks would go on, I would be like, she would be saying keywords, like buzzwords throughout it, like who the villain of the week was. And then I would be like, no, that was Chloe that did that, not, Clark Kent. And I was like, and so then I finally, after weeks of this, I'm like, did you watch the episode? And she was like, I have to come clean. She was like, I didn't want to. I know that you were self-conscious about not a lot of other people watching the show. And so
you were so ratings obsessed as a
child. And so she was like, I just didn't want to like let you down. And I know you wanted like someone to like talk to you about the show. So I would just like have my brother recap it to me. And then you've now found me out. I tried to watch it. It's not for me. And so that's been
quite deceptive.
Very duplicitous of her, but for a nice reason. 10 years later, we're like 22, 23. We're in New Zealand on a trip together, vacation. This day is like a kayaking day, leisurely, all the way, it's downstream the entire time on this creek. We are a part of this like tourist group where we're the youngest ones there. It's all older people.
Right.
It's my first time in a kayak though, and so I'm like, we're kayaking, Tara's behind me, and as we're kayaking, I'm like, why are we not like in the lead? Not that it's like a race, but it's kind of like we're the youngest, we're the fittest.
Yeah, we should be ahead.
And this is like, and this is downstream, and so I'm kind of like, this is weird. Like, and then I'm like, I guess I'm just not used to kayaking. I thought it's harder than it looks, I guess. But then I keep thinking to myself, well, Tara is at least behind me, and so I'm like, I'm not the worst, and we're the same age, and so I'm kind of like, okay, I guess we're just both, this is the first time kayaking, we like don't know the right strokes, the right rhythm.
Yeah, you're not quite Meryl in the River Wild yet.
Exactly.
Yet.
And so
one of my favorite films of all time.
I haven't seen it. I kind of said exactly, but I don't want to leave you hanging there. I do want to see it.
It's incredible.
Okay.
I own the DVD.
I also need to see like Romancing the Stone. Is that similar vibes?
That's a movie I've not seen.
Okay. Anyways, we're going downstream. And after like a while, this is like a 2-hour thing that we're doing. I am like, this is so incredibly hard. And so I'll look back at Tara and she will be like, and she's like, what's going on? I don't know why this is so hard. And then I like turn back around. I'm doing this. I hear from behind me being like, maybe we should switch strokes, like switch rhythm. And I'm like, oh, sure. So then we switch rhythm. We're going left to right. Then we're going to do right to left, different things.
I'm so scared.
Then I look back at her again. She's looks at me very much like, I don't know what's going on, but I guess like we have to like talk to them at the end and figure out like how to stroke better.
Oh,
I wish I didn't say that phrase.
Not on pod.
2 hours go by. My arms have never been more tired in my life. We finally get to like the bank of the creek where we're all like gonna be.
Sounds utterly exhausting.
And then the tour guide is like taking pictures as they like get to the end of the creek, and the tour guide starts laughing hysterically as I'm pulling up to the dock or whatever, and I'm like, what's so fucking funny, tour guide, that I was struggling? How dare you?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm all ears.
And then I hear Tara behind me giggle, 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 and the tour guide takes this photo exactly as I turn around, and at no point, because I never thought someone would be so duplicitous. Tara, at the very beginning of this kayaking journey, had tied her rope to the back of my kayak.
You are.
So I was dragging Tara for 2 hours, and every time I looked back, she would put her oars in the water. Her oars were not in the water that entire time, and she just knew when I would turn around to like pretend. The performance of a lifetime, the Amy Adams performance of a lifetime.
Wow.
It is literally, and then to this day, it's one of my favorite photos. Is she took the exact moment where I realized that I had been duped.
That is actually hilarious. She's an international prankster. I am LOL.
It literally
Sounds like something I would do.
Something that you would do. It's something that I guess goes back to the April Fools. I love a good prank.
Sure.
You know?
I have a game that I would like to play with you.
Okay.
Let me get my laptop.
Okay,
for this.
get your laptop.
Okay, this is one of my famous games. A this or that.
Okay.
In the spirit of Amy Adams being a famous redhead, who I also famously cast as Wendy in the gritty television series about Wendy from Wendy's life, I have a game I want to play with you called Really Talented or Relying on Red.
Okay. Oh no. Okay.
You need to decide if this person is really talented or relying on the red hair on their head.
Okay. Okay.
Amy obviously is really talented. First person, Jessica Chastain.
Really talented.
Carrot Top.
Really talented.
Chapel Rowan.
Absolutely talented.
Wendy's.
Relying on red.
Okay. Ronald McDonald.
Relying on red.
Annie from Annie.
Relying on red.
Merida from Disney Pixar's Brave.
Relying on red. I've never felt that more in my bones.
I agree with you there. Ed Sheeran.
He's a redhead? Okay. So
Very light red.
very light red. So I would say talented because I didn't realize he was a redhead. He's not relying on that red. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I probably would disagree with you,
Okay.
but this isn't me playing. Dee Dee Pickles.
Wow. Most talented person on the list.
Miss Frizzle.
Future Miss Thing. The most talented. Okay.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, have you seen her talented? Have you seen
I
her
agree.
cry from both eyes?
Incredible crier.
And she ran with those heels in Jurassic World.
I know, she carried that film
Yeah.
on her back. Prince Harry.
Ooh, relying on red.
All right, Cynthia Nixon.
Talented.
Miranda Hobbs.
Ooh, relying on red.
All right, that's the game.
Wow. Okay.
Shall we take a break?
Let's take a break.
We're back! And it's time for Diva Down, our famous segment where each week we give some unsolicited advice to something in the culture, person, place, or thing that really needs some help.
This Diva Down is probably the most shooketh we have ever been.
Yeah, it's our most personal Diva Down to date.
It's definitely one of those moments where, like, it might be a little hard for us to talk about.
Yeah, where we really need to look inward and also bring ourselves to the table and, sort of evaluate our choices and who we are and what we've been doing wrong, which is everything.
Oh, okay, we're on opposite sides of the aisle.
Okay. Well, should we?
I don't think we have. Okay, go. You go.
You know what? I don't think we've done anything wrong in this particular instance. But our Diva Down this week is, of course, our TikTok. Our first TikTok.
Yes.
Miss Thing Podcast. We have been banned from TikTok out of nowhere.
I have to say, this is my advice. And my advice actually isn't to our TikTok account, but it's to TikTok itself.
Of course. No, it would never be about our account.
No, we did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
This is
except bring you incredible content.
Exactly.
Day in, day out.
Getting punished for being amazing. Mm-hmm. And I would like to say to TikTok right here and right now that, like, we're just asking to be loved.
Sure, that is all
we're just asking to be loved. And if you don't feel the same way, you at least need to tell us what we did wrong, so we can learn going forward how to please you. You know?
Exactly. We will bend over backwards.
Backwards for you, truly. And you are making it so hard. We're reaching out constantly, being like, what did we do?
Yeah.
Like, how can we make this better? And then you just send us these standard replies. It's like multiple violations. We're left to guess what we did wrong. And that is not how you build a relationship.
Exactly.
Communicate.
Communication is really bad. I would say the AI bot that's running TikTok, because there doesn't seem to be a single human monitoring any account in sight. I think that AI bot needs to get its eyes and ears checked. Mm-hmm. Maybe get with the one that needs to work on drawing necks.
Yes.
And sort of figure your shit out. Because we're over here putting out clean, fun, family-friendly content, and you decide to ban us permanently for a little video where we joke about people going to the hospital on Thanksgiving. Something that we have both done multiple times.
And also, it has come to our attention because we have since told everyone in our lives about this multiple times. Mm-hmm. And they said that we also shouldn't be saying the word gay or tagging the word gay. And it's like, let us do our thing. Let us be gay. Let us live TikTok.
Yeah, let us be proud of being gay.
Yeah. And so we just need you to evaluate your life choices and stop stepping on our damn necks.
I do hear that if you're gay, if you're derogatory towards gay, your material gets to stay up and is rewarded.
Yeah.
But being proud of being gay is sort of where you draw the line. And look, I get it.
If you want us to be derogatory towards gays, if that will get us more views, we'll do it.
We are not above it.
We will switch on a dime. But just tell us. Just communicate.
Yeah. We just need to know. We want to do better. Be best.
Be best.
In this way.
Listeners, this is another that we just want to say. Follow our TikTok at...
Our new TikTok at Miss Thing the Pod. This also has been an incredible opportunity to make all of our social media pages the same. So our TikTok and Instagram are both now at Miss Tick. What is it? Our TikTok and Instagram are both now at Miss Thing the Pod. They are both at Miss Thing the Pod. So why don't you do us a favor and do the TikTok AI moderator a favor and go give that a follow.
Yes, go follow us there. And if you haven't yet done this, go onto Spotify or Apple, or wherever you are listening to this, and hit that subscribe or follow button.
Yes.
Give us 5 stars and only 5 stars. And
only
also,
5 stars.
If you are enjoying this, a little comment, even if it's just like love, exclamation point.
Yep.
We are not above groveling for those comments.
A positive review in addition to your stars, your 5 stars.
Yes.
Only.
And tell your friends. Tell your loved ones.
Tell everyone.
Tell your hairstylist, your grocer, anyone that you come in. Is that what the people who check you out? Well, everyone's checking me out.
But tell your grocer, your grocer.
Tell anyone who's checking you out.
Tell everyone.
Hey, wait.
You should check people out.
If you want to like have a good interaction when you're flirting with someone new, tell them to listen to this pod, and they will find you super hot and attractive.
Well, they'll definitely think you have incredible taste and that you know a thing or two about comedy.
And it's like a really good bonding thing. You guys listen to it, then you go on the date, and then you talk about what better, Greg and Tim.
Us, and you listen to it again on the date, and then you tell your waiter or waitress or waitrix.
And then you say, you know what? If you are looking for a really good tip tonight, and listen, I'll give you a tip, 20%, but I'll give you an even better tip. Listen to Miss Thing with Greg and Tim.
We're getting all sorts of tips tonight here at Miss Thing with Greg and Tim.
And with that,
we love you.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye. Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media.
BONK.